Opinion, where we break down true crime stories to uncover the bigger lessons behind them. We start at the beginning, from the scene of the crime, and from there we follow the investigation, analyzing the evidence, uncovering contradictions, and asking the tough questions. But most importantly, we set every story around what truly matters: the victims. So if you're here to learn, think critically, and respect the real people behind these cases, you're in the right place. Subscribe, join the conversation, and let's make sure these stories are never forgotten. Hello, everyone. It is 5:15:25, and welcome to our live stream. I'm going live in the morning because I have something important to do today at 1. So we're making a little bit of changes, but I decided that I'm going to be here with you guys anyway. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be watching the cross-examination of Trooper Buchanan on the Karen Read trial and just going through that. I appreciate you guys for having patience with me on not being able to upload videos right now. If you guys are just getting here and understanding, or if you guys are just coming in and you weren't here for previous live streams, I am going through something with my family. I am going through court myself, and it has just kind of emotionally taken a toll, and it's it's been very time consuming. So I appreciate you guys having patience that I'm not uploading videos at the moment. But I will be back. It is in the schedule for me to be back full time. So just so we're aware. With that being said, I am going to set up. This is day 6. I don't need day 6. I need day 8. I am on Trooper with the help Buchanan cross-examination. So let's see. No, this is still Jennifer McCabe. Other than that, we're going to find that 9, maybe day 10. Let's see, day 10. Trooper, that's Guarino, Gallagher. Am I way further than I thought I was? Maybe I am. Connor Keefe. Oh, Jessica Hyde. Okay, I watched that. And then day, I believe, 13 should be where we're at. Yes. Okay. And then 13 is, I want the cross-examination of Trooper B, because the direct examination is boring. Let's see. Short break. On the record. Cross-examination. Where is the cross-examination from the last one? Wait a dang minute. Sorry, guys. Usually I'm a little bit more organized than this. But state's witness. Continued state's witness. Oh, this is him getting cross-examined. Oh, they didn't have it. Now, hold on a second. Oh. All right. Where is... They didn't have it. They don't have it labeled. Sorry. Let's see what we got here. So here's... Okay, here he is with Brennan. And then where is he with Alan Jackson? Here he comes. Is he here with Alan? I wish they would label these a little better. They only have it as the witness for... Okay, here he is with Brennan. And then I think he's here with Alan. When does he come in with Alan Jackson? Why wouldn't they timestamp that? I'm trying to scrub through this. Very sorry. Hi, Pina. How are you? Okay. Oh, that's with Brennan. That's with Brennan. This is lunch break. And then I suppose this is just with Alan Jackson. All right, let's see if we can do this here.
Ms. Gilman, if you can take us to 1054.
Nope.
And before we begin, Trooper Mechanic, is this a different location than all the video we've seen before?
Yes, this is the Waterfall Bar Grill surveillance footage from inside.
Here he is.
You and Mr. Proctor collected, I'm talking about in
Nope.
your first,
Nope.
The tasks, but there's a lot of people involved in this investigation.
so he touched, so he had
Okay.
of integrity.
Recommendation.
This is such a weird... Did they just, like, cut it off? I don't know. Okay, so we're seeing the Waterfall Bar and Grill here.
Did you see the last person walk out the door on
That's
that video
Brennan
clip?
that's speaking.
Yes, I did.
And did you identify who that is?
Yes, it's Mr. John O'Keefe. He's wearing the two-tone gray sweatshirt with the sleeves pulled up towards the elbows.
Is that the same clothing that you found at Good Samaritan Hospital when you went to visit?
Yes, it is.
The baseball hat, did you have an opportunity to look at the hat he was wearing?
Yes, I did.
Is that consistent with the hat that you and the group found on February 3rd, 2010?
Yes, it is.
The pants?
Yes, it is.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 108C. This is already introduced into evidence. When you studied that photo, do you notice anything in Mr. O'Keefe's hand?
Yes, in his right hand, he's holding a short style cocktail glass with black drinking straw protruding from it as it is backdropped on the snow on the hood of the car that's parked outside.
Could we show 108C, please? Ms. Gilman, could you focus the best you can on the drink? Is that the photo you looked at?
Yes, it is.
Can you point out or explain where you see the drinking straw?
Absolutely. Right there.
All right, there's a drinking straw. Hold on. Where does he...
Did you provide that person who, do you know what?
I want to know when he sees Alan. Here we go. There's Alan, our main man.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Sergeant Buchnick.
Good afternoon, sir.
I want to talk to you for a second about roles in this case, in this investigation. Would you agree with me that Michael Proctor was the lead investigator as well as the case agent in charge of this case?
He was assigned as the case officer for the case.
In that position, given the fact that it was his assignment, would you agree with me that he had a leadership role insofar as the investigation of the case was concerned?
I wouldn't call it a leadership role. It's more of a facilitator, liaison between the DA's
Look at the smile on his face. He's trying not to
personnel
smile.
within the office and the state police. He also helps facilitate any missions, outstanding tasks that need to be completed.
He obviously had a supervisor, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
He obviously had a supervisor, correct?
He did, yes, that would be myself.
That would be you.
Yes.
Every case has some lead trooper in your unit, correct? Every case is assigned to someone to sort of be in charge and lead the charge of the investigation. Is that right?
Every case has a case officer that manages the investigation.
Right. And managing the investigation doesn't mean just, sort of typing up schedules. It means actually managing the investigation, like deciding what search warrants are going to be written in certain circumstances. That's one example, correct?
They're responsible for writing and authoring those search warrants. Sometimes the recommendation, suggestion, or leadership comes from the supervisors or the DA staff, where their experience might dictate otherwise.
And sometimes it comes from the lead case agent himself or herself, correct?
At times, yes.
Every team, even back when you were in the military, you were on many, many teams in the Marine Corps, correct?
I'm sorry, you were speaking, facing away from me. I couldn't hear you.
Every team, including back in the time you were in the military, back in the time you were in the Marine Corps, every team has multiple individuals involved in that team, correct? That's the whole point of a team, multiple people, correct?
I would agree with you that a team consists of more than one person. Yes.
And there has to be some sort of echelon of leadership on that team, correct? Everybody's not just an equal, co-equal, correct?
We might have different duties, responsibilities, but some teams have equal rank. Yeah.
But there's going to be a team leader, right? That's a military phrase, team leader.
Yes, there is a team leader in the Marine Corps, in the rifle platoon, but not every team has a leader.
Did the team in this case, in this investigation, have a leader? Someone who was assigned as the lead case agent? Not just another officer, not just another detective, but the lead case agent.
The case officer for the investigation was Michael Proctor.
But you don't want to say lead case agent or case officer, correct?
I refer to that billet as case officer.
Your responsibility as the supervisor over this particular case officer or any other case officer that you might have, or any other trooper that you might have under your supervision, your responsibility in no small part is to supervise the individuals under your command to ensure that the case is adequately investigated, it's properly investigated. That's part of your role as a supervisor, correct?
That is one of my many responsibilities, yes.
It's partly because you have more experience, I'm guessing, than the people under your charge. Is that right?
Certainly in my position, but there are many instances where a sergeant might have less experience than a well-seasoned trooper that's been in the office for 15 to 20 years. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. That may be the case, but under ordinary circumstances, you earn your way into a supervisory role in the Massachusetts State Police through both not just time, but time and experience, correct?
We take an exam and then get promoted based on the exam.
Part of the responsibility
Which would also
that
be
you have
time
as
and
a
experience.
supervisor is to make sure that the case
To be able to pass
is
that
properly
exam,
investigated.
I think.
And that may include making sure you have the right suspects, right? The array of suspects that may exist, you want to make sure, and you supervise to make sure that that array of suspects is appropriate and proper, correct?
In every investigation, we follow the evidence, we follow the statements made, provided by eyewitnesses, witnesses in the case. Sometimes the defendants or the suspects provide statements to us. At many instances, those could be contradictory statements. We follow the evidence in every investigation, and that evidence determines who the suspect, person of interest, or ultimately the defendant is.
And you want to make sure that you gather, or that your subordinates gather that evidence in an appropriate and objective way. It's obviously the foundation of a good investigation, correct?
Right. Yes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Maybe. You obviously, as a supervisor, want to make sure, you talked about following the evidence, you want to make sure that that evidence is gathered in a way that is adequate, in a way that is objective,
Correct.
in a way that is unbiased. So that
Correct.
you can gather the evidence that will lead you to the right folks, right? The right suspects.
We always want to gather as much evidence as possible. We conduct that gathering in the most appropriate ways possible. Sometimes there are tough decisions that have to be made where we have to either decide whether we're collecting evidence A or evidence B, and those decisions have to be made on the spot. At times it's a time-sensitive matter. At times it's a decision made by a group putting their heads together and deciding on that. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Not
that's-
really.
No,
that's the
it's a
most
yes or no question.
try
The
it again.
answer is
accurate,
yes.
explanation.
Okay, you done?
I am.
Woo!
Let's try that again. You want to make sure that the evidence, as a supervisor, supervising your subordinates, you want to make sure that the evidence is gathered in an appropriate way,
Yes.
in an objective way, correct?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. You're also doing everything you can as a supervisor and someone with the experience to make sure that the highest levels of integrity and those demands are met in any investigation that you work on.
If there was a question of integrity, those individuals would not be part of an investigation.
That includes knowing, obviously, what your subordinates are doing.
During the conduct of the investigation, during the process of us investigating a crime, yes, we know what is going on because every bit of information that comes in needs to be shared, and we need to make sure the whole team is aware of all the evidence and information that is available to us at the time.
You want to make sure that, I'm going to use a colloquial phrase, you keep tabs on those who are reporting to you, correct? What are they doing? What are they engaged in?
Right.
When are they coming and
You
going?
manage,
Who are they interviewing? Things
or
of that nature.
you're
Basic
the manager
investigative
of the scene.
things, correct?
For the most part, you can't track every single person
Of course
all the
not.
time, but this is
It's
a
your job to
very
oversee.
serious line of work. A lot depends on it. We speak for those that can no longer speak for themselves. So we do our best to conduct every investigation with integrity, honor, and get to the truth.
If you don't properly supervise, and I'm talking about your role now as a supervisor, if you don't properly engage in that supervision, it obviously increases chances for mistakes. It increases chances for bias to seep in. It increases chances that something could affect the adequacy of the investigation, correct?
Yes.
That's a lot there. Can you repeat that, please? Maybe one section at a time?
Sure. If you don't properly supervise your subordinates in an investigation, failing to properly supervise them could increase the chances that mistakes are made.
Yes.
Is that right? That's why you
Yes,
supervise.
that is one possibility. yes.
Okay, let's break it down. It also increases chances that there could be inherent biases that are seeping into the case that
Sure.
you want to make sure doesn't happen, correct?
Yes.
I believe that human beings all have biases, but during the investigation, those biases do not affect, especially in this case, they did not affect any outcome of the investigation.
So I wasn't even talking about this case. I was
Whoa.
talking about cases in general and your supervisory role in general. Your job as a supervisor is to seek out and make sure that there are no biases in an investigation, correct?
Absolutely.
You want to
Absolutely.
make sure that any investigation, as a supervisor, any investigation that is under your charge, under your supervision, is done adequately and professionally. Is that right?
Yes, that is right.
And there is a chain of command for that, right? Meaning someone under your charge needs to report up the chain of command to you, and you have supervisors to whom you report, correct?
Yes.
Yes, it's a paramilitary structure, and it is
He really
in order for
feels
the
the
colonel
need
keep
to
command and
explain
control over
his
the
yes or
entire
no.
agency of 2,000 plus people. It is absolutely necessary for there be a reporting up and down within the ranks of the Massachusetts State Police.
And you have, by the way, what's your chain of command? Who did you report to back in 2022?
I directly reported to Detective Lieutenant Tully.
especially in a case, you mentioned this case a second ago, especially in a case like this, a homicide investigation, especially in a homicide investigation involving a police officer, you have to maintain your knowledge, an intimate knowledge of those under your command, under your charge, to ensure that what they're doing fits what you believe to be the proper protocol. In other words, you're not just going to let people loose. You're going to watch what they're doing and actually supervise them, correct?
Yes, absolutely. We are
Hi, John.
professionals, and we
Hi, Bunny.
conduct each
Yes.
and every investigation with that in mind and with
that's
the
what-
integrity
So
that is
defensive,
necessary.
Bunny.
You just used the word I was about to use. That ensures the adequacy of the investigation, correct?
Yes.
To use your word, that ensures the integrity of the investigation. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
As you sit here today, do you believe that this investigation, now I'm going to turn to this investigation, was conducted with professionalism, with competence, at the highest level of integrity?
This investigation was conducted professionally, with integrity, and all the evidence collected, all the statements collected pointed in one direction. There was no bias influence on the evidence, on the information that was collected, or which direction the investigation pointed.
Oh, we'll see.
naturally.
Former Trooper Michael Proctor was the person who was the assigned case agent, the lead case agent in this particular investigation, correct?
Michael Proctor was the case officer for this investigation.
He was assigned, ultimately, to use another phrase, as the lead investigator, wasn't he?
I'm not going to agree with you.
Why?
Is there a reason
Just say
that
yes.
you
That's
wanna
who he
try to distance
was.
yourself from naming Michael Proctor as the lead investigator in the case? Is there some reason?
I am not trying to distance myself. All I'm saying is the term that I use is the case officer. We're simply case managers. There's no leading.
It's the same
investigation
thing.
in
He
any
was
direction.
in charge of this
So,
game. Oh
in
my
your
God.
mind- Well, let me ask you this. He's a case officer, another word for that, synonym would be an investigator, right? He's a detective, an investigator, correct?
He is a detective, yes.
And he was the one who was assigned by the Massachusetts State Police because of his on-call status that night, or that morning, January 29, 2022. He was assigned.
This was his case.
Michael,
Yes or no? Assigned to the case. That's all I'm asking.
well, you said a lot before that, so
No, I said he was assigned to the case. What I said before that was January 29, 2022. He was assigned by the Massachusetts State Police as the case officer for this case. Right?
See,
no.
what?
Was.
He was assigned to be on call a month prior. Just because he was on call, he was assigned the case as a result. He was not assigned
That's exactly
the
what he just
case
said.
right there and then, because his assignment began much earlier in the day.
Sergeant, we can do this all day, I suppose. He was on call.
He
on
was.
January 29, correct?
He was.
Because he was on call.
You're right, John. He is choosing his words carefully, but the question is why? Who was in charge of this case? Michael Proctor. Yes. That's it. Michael Proctor was the one in charge of this case. Michael Proctor is fired now. Former Trooper Proctor. Jeremy Renner. Don't do that to my boy Jeremy. Don't you do that, Bunny.
Any case that happened to come in would be assigned to whom?
To the on-call trooper, that's
Which
Understood.
was?
Which was whom?
it was Michael Proctor.
Thank you. Why was that so hard?
Let me just ask you this. Do you believe that Michael Proctor, his involvement in this case, taints the investigation?
Yes.
Tainted the investigation?
He would
No.
act the crap out of this,
Not at
though,
all.
Bunny. I agree with you.
The investigation was done with honor, integrity, and all the evidence pointed in one direction,
From
only.
Michael
Honor
Proctor?
and integrity by
Sir.
Michael Proctor?
John.
Was that a question? I'm sorry.
Sure is. Everything I say is question. Honor and integrity by Michael Proctor, Sergeant? Okay.
Sustain to the comment. Go ahead and ask it again, Mr.
I'll ask it
President.
again. You said honor and integrity. honor and integrity by Michael Proctor.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
The investigation was conducted with honor and integrity, and all the evidence pointed in one direction and one direction only.
So, Sergeant Buchanan, you don't want to answer my question,
With Proctor.
correct?
I will answer your question, absolutely.
But you're not
You think
answering
this
the
case was
question.
handled with honor and integrity by Michael Proctor, Sergeant.
The investigation was handled with integrity by Michael Proctor.
Not with honor.
You do know that he touched or had input in nearly every part of this case, obviously, as the case officer, correct?
Off the sodium. Me too,
He
John.
managed the case.
I loves my salt.
So he had some input or had some connection to nearly every part of the case, be it the physical evidence, the search warrants, the interviews, things of that nature.
He was one of the involved with collecting evidence, conducting interviews.
Because he was
and,
the lead investigator on this
signing
case.
affidavits for the search warrants.
He didn't take a minor role in this case. He had a major role in this case. Would you at least agree with that?
He had a role that was more significant than others.
Oh my
A
God.
major role would, to me, suggest that he had 51% or more. And with a team of the size that we had working on this case, he did not have a major role.
So you believe, as you sit here today, your testimony is Michael Proctor did not have a major role in this investigation of Commonwealth versus Karen Reed because he didn't have 51% of something?
How many people were on this
That's
case?
the way I understand it, yes.
Okay. You're aware of the search warrants that were drafted, affidavits that were.
This
attended
is
to those
so
search
bizarre.
warrants, in this case, correct?
Am I aware of affidavits drafted in
Search warrants
support-
and affidavits,
in support of the search warrants?
correct?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
You're also aware that there was a good amount of physical evidence that was handled in this case?
Yes.
Recovered, touched, booked, assigned or booked into the
In
lab,
red Solo
things of that
cups
I am
and
aware
paper
of
bags.
the evidence involved in this case, yes.
I agree with you, Bunny. If he just says yes, Proctor was the lead on this
nature. May I
case.
approach the witness?
Yes.
That places all the blame then on Proctor, but I feel like he's like, oh my God, yeah, the vampire guy. You're right. Grandpa. But the thing is like, yeah, just say yes or no, because then if he says yes, Proctor was the lead investigator,
I handed you
it shifts
a
the blame to
binder.
Proctor, but he can't do it.
And it's tabbed just for your convenience so I don't have to walk back and forth. With
Thank
the
you,
court's
sir.
permission,
Yes.
can you open tab 1? I'm not going to ask you to read the entire search warrant, but is that a search warrant that ends in 07?
Yes, it is.
And it's for generally Verizon records for Miss Reed's cell phone.
No, I would not agree with you, sir.
What is that search warrant for?
It's for Verizon records for a VIN number, which looks like a vehicle.
What?
Is that the vehicle, the SUV, the Lexus SUV in this case?
I
Verizon
do
number
not
for a
know for
vehicle?
sure because it doesn't have that identifier here, and I don't know the VIN number off the top of my head.
Okay, fair enough. Who's the affiant?
Michael Proctor.
Can you turn to tab 2? Is that a search warrant ending in the number 14?
Give me 1 second.
I'm sorry,
I don't want to
130.
ruin your presentation here.
Your presentation. So
Ending in
dismissive.
13. I misspoke.
Okay.
Is that a search warrant for, generally speaking, Karen Reed's cell phone?
The quality of this photocopy is so poor, I cannot make out exactly what it's for, but there
I
is
feel
an
like these guys are
overlay of
playing, well, not so much Alan,
print.
but
I can
Trooper
read
B
what is
is,
presented to me, if that's what
they're
you...
trying to play like, who can pee longer, you know? Like, it's a pissing match for him, not for Alan Jackson, but for Trooper Buchanan. Buchanan? I don't know how to say his name.
want me to do. I do not know if this is an authentic copy of a search warrant.
Let's just look at
Oh my
the
God.
affidavit. Can you tell me who the affiant is?
This guy's growing on me. John, stop it. Stop it right now. Good to see you guys this morning. I wish I had my coffee with me, but I already drank it.
On this document, the affiant is Michael Proctor.
Can you
On
tell-
all of
by the
them,
way,
it's Michael
just staying with
Proctor
that for a
because he
second,
was
you
the
said
lead
you don't
case
recognize
agent.
it. Do you recognize it as being attendant to this case?
The application or the affidavit?
The search warrant. Well, they
Again,
go
the
together.
The application or the together?
They go together.
I understand
They
that, but I'm
go
asking which
together like
document you want me to...
women,
The document in
ding
total.
dong.
In other words, it's not a search warrant.
Together
dealing with a different case.
forever,
It's
like shoobop, shoobop,
dealing
dop,
with this
dibbity
week's
doop
case.
de doop.
Correct?
Again, I cannot say from the search
Ooh, what are you
warrant,
selling?
because of the quality of it. The addendum A appears to be with
John,
this case.
not like
Have you ever seen it
this.
before?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever seen it before?
How
This
not to
search
act.
warrant?
I haven't read the whole thing, so I can't testify to that.
So this could be a search warrant that you never even saw?
Based on what you're presenting to me, never having seen or not having read all the details of it, I cannot say whether I've seen it before or not.
So you're not sure that Michael Proctor didn't just do the search warrant without your knowledge? As you sit here.
I don't know if this is truly Michael Proctor's product.
Think that might be a
Are
forgery?
you saying that your troopers are forging documents?
Sorry?
You think that might be a forgery at the end of that affidavit?
Well, for one, it's not signed, so I don't know who produced this. What I'm saying to you is I don't know who produced this. The quality of the first document, the narrative, I don't know who
Hi,
produced
Ray.
it. Show me a search warrant application with an affidavit from court with a stamp.
Oh, Bunny, that's so exciting. If you're in our Discord or whatever, make sure you put up pictures.
I don't know what this is.
Otherwise, looking at that document, seeing the affidavit, seeing the...
I love that he's like, I don't know if this is forged. Are you used to your troopers forging affidavits?
And seeing Michael Proctor's name on it. No clue whether or not that's a warrant that's attendant to this case that Michael Proctor drafted and submitted. You have no clue.
I can't take you at your word.
I'm not asking you to take me at my word, sir. I'm not testifying. I'm asking you to take the
Those are
document as its word.
evidentiary
You recognize it or not? If you don't, you don't.
What are they?
I do not
Evidence?
know.
Okay, let's turn to tab 3.
They're evidence. He didn't just like sign some papers and put them in there.
Does that appear to be a search warrant ending in the number 14?
Yes, it is.
And does that
Exactly,
appear to
Bunny. Thank
generally,
you.
Be associated with
Bunny says the idea that they would submit a forged document like that to the court is obscene. Like the defense is over here like, hey, let's just forge these documents and bring them into the court. Like they didn't have to submit it for legitimate evidence. Like when you submit evidence, the defense brings it in and the prosecution gets to object to it. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay. Oh my God. I am so wow. I am so sorry. My dog was outside and the lawn guy was here and he was barking. Whew. Okay. And we're back. I had to let the dog in so that she couldn't bark at the lawn guy. Whew. Anyways. All right. And we're back doing what we're supposed to be doing. Let's party. Okay.
Ring camera footage at One Meadows, or can you not tell that?
It has an email address, an associated MAC address, so yes, that's what it appears to be.
Okay, can you tell me who the affiant is?
That's another great point. But if the document isn't signed, how is it forged? No signature on an affidavit means nothing. And also, yeah, you can't just hand in an affidavit and get a search warrant. You have to sign all of them. Somebody has to be responsible. Because also, sorry, I keep starting and pausing. But also, like when you do an affidavit as a police officer or you're getting a search warrant, you're also signing a piece of paper that's like, I truly believe, you know, within the law that we can find X, Y, and Z. And like you're putting your name on it because if you're doing it illegally or you're obtaining a search warrant illegally, somebody has to be responsible. Somebody's going to get in trouble. Also, if we're just handing in affidavits with no signature and then carrying out search warrants, that's a whole nother crime of corruption inside of this jurisdiction because holy shit.
Again, this is not a signed search warrant. This is just an affidavit.
Whose name is at the bottom of it?
The name at the bottom printed is Michael Proctor.
Can you turn to tab 4?
And all he's trying to prove is all of these were signed by Michael Proctor in order to obtain the search warrants from the judges or wherever it is that he has to go, which would further prove that Michael Proctor is the lead investigator. Michael Proctor. Michael Proctor is the lead investigator on this case. But Buchanan won't say it to his face. All right, I don't know. Sorry.
Does that appear to be a search warrant ending in the number 04?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
And
I
does
hope
that
the
appear
people
to
of
be
this town
for
watch this trial.
ring
I would be
footage
so
also
concerned.
at
Yes.
One Meadows?
You should be concerned that a bunch of police officers can act like this.
23.
It's a problem. And I think, I have to tell you, I think that's why this is such a big deal, why this is so captivating to everybody, because it's like they are single-handedly trying to pin this on this woman now twice, but Karen Read is all of us. Where something happens and a police department and families and, you know, troopers and whatever, they decide that you're, the scapegoat of because something else happened. Imagine, just imagine. And they can try to pin all this against you. I got to be honest with you. I do not think that Karen Read hit John O'Keefe with her car and left. I don't. And also, I don't believe still on day 13 that the prosecution has even proved, even if she did, let's say if she did, I don't believe she did. But even if she did, I don't think that the prosecution is proving their case at all. But it's very scary that you could bleed Karen Read out of millions of dollars that she doesn't have, racking up debt to fight for her life so that she doesn't go to prison for something she didn't do. And it could happen to any one of us. And I think that's the scariest part.
based on the application addendum A, it's the same email address.
Right. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And I personally don't think that the prosecution is proving their case, but that's my opinion. If I was a juror, I'd be like, do we not know how John O'Keefe died yet? Anybody?
Associated with the previous
Anyone can get the
location,
same treatment. Yes.
of Meadows, yes.
Who's the affiant or affiant?
Michael Proctor! Say it. Say it. Slowly. Say it.
Michael Proctor.
Can you turn to tab 5? Does that appear to be a police report?
It does.
And do you see a reference in that police report for a search warrant ending in 10 for a telematic system regarding Miss Reed's SUV? And it may speed things up if you look at page 2.
That's a great point, Ray. Usually the lead investigator is liable. And who's the lead investigator? Say it with me, folks. Michael Proctor.
There is a reference to it, yes.
Okay. Whose report is that?
It's
Say it.
Trooper Nicholas Garino's report.
Oh,
And who is referred to on page 2 as seeking the search warrant ending in 10?
That search warrant was issued at Stone District Court and presented by Trooper Proctor.
so he was fired, correct? Michael, why wouldn't they be more willing to throw him under the bus? In my opinion, because it was Tully, then Buchanan, then Proctor. I think unless they're really good friends, because he said, unfortunately, he was fired in direct examination. I think he either thinks this is a reflection on him, or they're really good friends and he's part of the corruption, and he's like, he shouldn't have gotten fired. I don't think he should have gotten fired.
Turn to tab 6, if you would.
But yes, he is former Trooper Proctor. But that's a great question.
Search warrant ending in the number 77.
I see the application, yes.
And this deals with Google and some geofence data, correct?
Right, they are not doing that, Ray. Captain, hi!
Yes, it is.
Who's the affiant?
Michael Proctor! Michael Proctor! Say it slowly. ASMR it, let it tickle my ears. Say it. Say it!
Again, this search warrant is not signed, but
How many do you not have that are
I would say
signed?
this isn't an actual search warrant, but it seems like at the bottom it says Trooper Michael Proctor.
If you turn to tab 7, please.
Trooper Michael Proctor! Trooper Michael Proctor!
Does that appear to be a report?
Absolutely, he should have been fired. But Buchanan will say he was unfortunately fired, which would insinuate to me that he doesn't think he should be fired. Exactly. We investigated ourselves, and we found nothing wrong. Me too. I know, this guy, he doesn't want to be there at all. He's like, dear God, somebody just drive a bus through this courtroom, please.
Authored by Nicholas Garino.
It does.
Does that deal with John O'Keefe's cell phone?
It's a report written by Nicholas Garino referencing Mr. O'Keefe's cell phone, yes.
And it indicates that Mr. O'Keefe's cell phone was seized by a particular trooper?
Michael
That's what the
Proctor!
report indicates, yes.
Who's the trooper?
In this report, it says that
Say it. Say it.
Trooper Proctor.
Oh my God, I'm
secured
so
the
good
cell
at this
phone.
game.
Turn to tab 8, if you don't mind.
I'm so good.
Do you see a similar report by Trooper Greeno?
Yes.
And do you see reference to Karen, pardon me, Karen Reed's cell phone having been seized?
Sorry, guys.
Yes.
And that was seized by Trooper Proctor also, correct?
Whoa.
Yeah, him and I
Whoa!
did it together.
His name is in the report, though.
Oh my God. Oh my
In the
God.
report.
Your name is not in the report, is it?
Say it, Bella.
I'll
Attorney
have to
Bacon
check in a
Bears.
second, please.
I am just. ChatGPT is taking all my notes, but you guys, hold on, look it. See,
My
I have
initials
my
are on the report.
assistant, so I can write my
tab nine.
summary. And now all my screens are going crazy. I love technology.
Report by you,
I do.
indicating early spring 2022. There was a CPD video requested by somebody, correct?
I need
Yes.
to leave
Who
things
did you
alone.
indicate requested that CPD video?
The case officer, Trooper Proctor.
And you went and actually, in this instance, you actually went and got the video.
See what happens when I try to highlight text?
At his request.
Yes, as the case officer, I would, yeah.
Good God.
Because as the case officer, he's entitled to ask for things, have them delivered.
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Anybody's entitled to ask for things, absolutely. We are pursuing justice. We're looking for any and all possible evidence.
I'm sure you are. As the case officer, he's entitled
Sure you are.
to ask for things to be delivered to him,
Yes, yes.
even by his supervisor.
Yes.
Yes.
absolutely.
If you don't mind turning to tab 10, please. Do you recognize that report?
I'm sorry, I was still
Say
trying.
it, Bella. I need to try a new streaming software so I can highlight your comments because they make me giggle. Ah, there we go.
It's the same report.
Same report, different paragraph, also talking about, or the different
Second
sentence
verse,
talking about
same
in
as the
July
first.
2023 CPD or Canton Police Department video that was also requested, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Sure. That particular part of the report, where I'm directing your attention
All right,
to
I got it
July
now.
of 2023, there was a Canton Police Department video requested by someone, correct?
Yes.
Trooper
Who was it
Proctor!
requested by?
Trooper Proctor.
And who delivered it to Trooper Proctor?
I did.
Woo!
Turn to tab 11, please.
Number one on the board. Let's go.
Do you see a document referencing the
Nobody could beat
analysis
me at
of
this game.
Canton Town library videos?
I'm so good.
I do.
And who is it that's listed as having received and reviewed
I choose
and
D.
analyzed the town library?
All of the
videos?
above. And
Can you
A,
just
B,
one
and C
second? I
are
have to read the
Trooper
report.
Proctor. It isn't even multiple choice. I want a fun one. What's this one? Try this one. Oh, that's fun. Who signed it, Buchanan? Ah, yes. Former Trooper Proctor. That's right. Do you know a little fun fact that in the first trial, somebody called him Sergeant or Trooper Bukaki? You gotta look it up. I think it was it might have been Nicole Albert who called him Trooper Bukaki. Which it's like, ma'am, how do you know what that is? Oh my
It
God.
was Trooper Proctor that analyzed the video and wrote up the timeline.
Yep.
Thank you. Sergeant, if you'll turn to tab 12.
Yeah. Yes, it was, Bunny. Yes, it was.
Do you recognize that as being a November 2023 report?
Yes, it's report number 83.
And who authored that report?
I know! Pick
This
me!
report is authored by
Pick me!
Trooper Michael Proctor.
Does that indicate, and I'm not going to ask you to go through the entirety of the report.
Put it on
but
the
If you scan
board!
that report, does that indicate certain items of evidence that Trooper Proctor claimed to have recovered on his own?
Oh my God.
Pieces of plastic,
With your parents?
small black plastic, clear plastic, fragment of glass on February 11th, 2022. 3 pieces of clear plastic on February 11th, 2022. Clear and red plastic pieces on February 18th, 2022. Is all that referenced in there?
Yes.
Those items are documented in this report as were collected.
Captain, I'm so
And those
sorry
were all
for your
documented
loss.
Having been collected by Trooper Proctor himself.
R.I.P.
Yes, they were.
And if you'll turn to tab 13. This is an evidence submission form, correct?
I'm sorry, 13?
Tab 13, yes, sir.
Is it Trooper Proctor?
Yes, it's a copy of an evidence submission form from March 14th, 2022.
I don't know how they get through this entire trial without having former Trooper Proctor testify. I don't. Do a sip of coffee. The way I would be able to tow my own car if I did a sip of coffee every time former Trooper Proctor is named. I would be able to throw a vehicle.
And that indicates submission of certain items of physical evidence from Massachusetts State Police custody to the crime lab, correct?
I would say so, based on this copy's information on there. Yes, I would say so.
And who's the person who submitted the items that I'll
I
ask you about?
know! Trooper Proctor! Pick me!
It is Trooper Michael Proctor.
And those items include clothing.
Get
is
your
that
cold
right?
cuts. Get
We
your
don't have
cold
to go through them
cuts.
line by line, but generally, you see clothing items mentioned on there?
The first line is a clothing item, yes.
That includes a lot of what we saw today, Sergeant Buchanan, the shirt, the orange shirt, the sweatshirt, blue jeans, belt, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Blue jeans, belt. What was the other thing that you listed?
Shirts.
There was a shirt, yes.
It also lists certain items of plastic, certain items of glass, is that right?
Some of those items are listed, yes.
And it even mentions the straw that you talked to Mr. Brennan about, correct?
Yes, the straw is mentioned and numbered.
And all of those items were submitted on March 14th, 2022, correct?
That's what the form indicates, yes.
And all of those items were submitted by Michael Proctor.
Michael Proctor.
In control to the crime lab, correct?
Me, pick me. Former Trooper Michael Proctor.
The things that, according to the form at least, and your experience with forms of this nature, it was Michael Proctor who possessed and controlled those items before they were turned over to the to the crime lab, correct?
That would be accurate, yes.
So he would have maintained all of it, is that right?
Yes.
At least at some point?
Most of it.
They would have been in his custody as he's transporting them for
Right.
processing at the lab.
Oh,
And then
look it.
after he maintained control of it, eventually he turned it over and submitted those items, correct?
If the form is accurate, then yes, that's absolutely right.
So we've just gone through a few things. What you and I have just gone through is not nearly everything that Michael Proctor was involved with in terms of this investigation.
How do I get one of these counters?
Right?
We did not talk about witness interviews,
So
no.
there's a lot more that Michael Proctor, on a day-to-day basis as the case officer, was involved in.
Can I do that through Nightbot?
Right?
Yes, there was many more things he was involved in. As I mentioned, that was just report 83. There's 100+ reports in this case that were written. There's a lot of evidence that was collected and processed. So he had a part in the investigation as the case officer managing.
Oh, like a physical
the
ticker?
tasks. But there's a lot of people
Like a-
involved in this
like a-
investigation.
Yeah,
He touched
I want
or
one of those.
authored or reviewed or controlled at least every bit of what you and I have talked about this morning. All these items that we've just talked about, correct?
He is referenced or is
Let me see if I can make one.
his name appears on most of these documents, yes,
As a matter of fact,
if not all.
Of the
If
ones
not-
that we just went through, he's not just referenced, he's the author of every single one of them, correct?
No. Nicholas Garino wrote some of these reports.
Sorry, the author of the search warrant. I asked you to look at Nicholas Garino's report to reference the search warrant that Nicholas Garino referenced in his report, and Michael Proctor was the author of that search warrant, correct?
Again, I'd hate to do this to you, but
No, I don't think you do.
Wow.
some of these search warrants could not be authenticated. I don't know what these documents were. I didn't read them, so I can't tell you that he was the author. Like what you presented, I can't speak to.
You just made my point. Even as the supervisor, you don't know everything that Michael Proctor was doing, do you?
No, it's impossible to know everything somebody was doing.
Got it. Especially the case officer on this case, as busy as he was, right?
I'm sorry?
Especially the case officer on this case, as busy as he was, Michael Proctor,
Hold on, I'm making it.
right?
He was keeping us and his supervisors abreast of what was happening, the next step, the search warrants he was writing, the evidence that was being collected, the interviews that are being conducted, court dates and motions and stuff like that.
So he would do the work and then keep you, the word you just used, keep you abreast of that work.
Right, unless I was involved with the investigation myself. We did a ton of interviews together, as I authored some of these reports as well. I said there was 100+ reports.
Sir, you were notified on January 29th, 2022, that a Boston police officer was found gravely injured in front of 34 Fairview in the lawn, in the yard, correct?
No, that is not correct.
What were you notified of?
When the
on.
notification came in, it was that there was a male party found in the snowbank.
At some point, you learned that male party was John O'Keefe, a police officer, correct?
Where's
At
Nightbot?
some point, we did learn that he was a Boston police officer.
Matter of fact, you learned that morning. May not have been the first notification, but
Look,
certainly
guys, we have a
early that
counter.
morning, you knew that John O'Keefe was a Boston police officer.
At some point, we learned. I don't remember exactly when, if it was morning, just after 12. I don't know when, but we did learn that he was a Boston police officer.
And I'm not asking about what Trooper Proctor learned, but what you learned. You learned that he was a Boston police officer, correct?
At some point, I learned that he was a Boston police officer, yes.
When was that point?
And on January 29th, did you ever respond to 34 Fairview Road at any time?
On January 29th, 2022, at no point in time did I or Michael Proctor, who was with me the whole time, ever respond to 34 Fairview Road.
So the answer to my question, very simply,
No.
is no. Right?
That's correct.
You just answered this question.
I have to tell you, I mean, if we're seeing it, right, like he seems like me and Trooper Proctor were not at the scene. Like it just seems like he's protecting him. I have to assume that the jury also feels that way.
Question as well, but I want to make sure we're absolutely clear. Your Honor, may I approach? I don't want that binder to be in the witness's way. At no point On January 29th, 2022, did Michael Proctor respond to 34 Fairview either, did he?
No,
Oh,
he did
every
not.
time we hear his name.
You already indicated and you described in some detail that Massachusetts State Police took over the investigation from Canton Police Department around 8 or 9 a.m., correct? You're following certain protocols.
Yes, at some point in the morning, once it was determined that
Yep.
Mr. O'Keefe was gravely injured and was being transported to the hospital with
Exactly. Like, I don't understand. This is the hill. This is the one. You could have said that this was led, with integrity and honor. I can't speak to the things that Michael Proctor did. I know that I tried to lead this investigation with. I don't understand why he's protecting him so hard, unless they got some other things going on,
no signs of life, and we were
which is good. That's their
advised
job.
that he had a estimated 10% of survival rate. We engaged our services and responded to Canton Police to begin the investigation.
So the answer to that question is yes, correct?
Yes.
God, he says so much when all he has to say is yes or
You
no.
often work with a local police agency, even though a police department, even though Massachusetts State Police may have statutory jurisdiction over the case because it's a homicide, right?
Yes, part of our mission is to aid and assist local police departments when they request it. In this specific situation, as I stated earlier, the DA's office has exclusive jurisdiction over death investigations, and our office has that responsibility of investigating those cases. But we work very well with local departments.
So the answer to that question is yes, correct?
Yes.
Oh my
If you can answer
God.
my question yes or no, this will go a lot faster.
He's like, all right, I don't care.
In this case, even though you oftentimes work with local law enforcement agencies, it was determined that you would not continue working with Canton PD because of a conflict or the perception of a potential conflict of interest, correct?
To alleviate any perception, not that one existed, the Canton Police Department recused themselves from being involved in the interview portion of the investigation.
And that's in no small part because the lawn on which Mr. O'Keefe was found belongs to to Brian Albert. And Kevin Albert, Brian Albert's brother, worked as a detective at Canton Police Department, correct?
Yes.
That was my understanding why they chose to take those steps.
Your first documented action in this case was to call.
It's a great point,
the
Captain.
Medical examiner's office. First documented action. Not the first thing you did, but the first thing that you documented that you did was to call the medical examiner's office at about 10:41 a.m., correct?
In what respect are you saying first documented action?
There's a report where we can look at the earliest thing that you did, and it's actually written down and documented. You know what I mean by documented? Written on a piece of paper.
My God.
In that respect of documentation, I would have to look into it. I believe
Just say sure.
There
If
was
that's what you have, that's what you
something
have.
probably before that, since there was a documentation of us getting notified of the incident.
At 10:41, let me just ask it a little bit more straightforward if I
It
can.
doesn't matter if you ask it straightforward. He's not going to answer
At
it.
10:41 a.m., you called the medical examiner's office to inform them that Mr. O'Keefe, quote, was struck in the face with a cocktail glass, or at least appeared to be, correct?
Whoa.
That is in part what I advised the medical examiner's office, where they are
What?
responsible for the medical portion of.
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach briefly?
What? Struck in the face with a cocktail glass. What? Okay, we're literally here because all of you are saying that John was hit by a car that was driven by Karen Reed. Your first documented action was to call the medical examiner, and you said that he was struck in the face by a cocktail glass. I don't know what to say. My guests are flabbered right now. Throw in the towel and try again next time. This is the next time, Captain. I don't know if this was brought up in the first trial, but if you guys are trying to prove that he got hit by a car, wouldn't you say he was struck by a vehicle? You called the medical examiner to tell him or her, or they, them, that John O'Keefe was struck in the face by a cocktail glass. Oddly specific.
All right, so Sergeant, I'm going to ask you to do your best to answer the question that's asked.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank God.
May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Did you contact the medical examiner's office in the morning of January 29th, 2022?
Yes.
And did you state to them that there was a possibility that the decedent, John O'Keefe, was struck in the face with a cocktail glass?
I don't recall my words exactly, but that sounds accurate to what I might have said.
At least your initial investigation during those
I don't
early
even
morning
know what
hours,
to
those
say.
critical hours led you to believe at least that there was a possibility that there was a physical altercation, correct?
Yes.
What steps did you take at that moment to determine whether or not anybody in the house may have been involved in that physical altercation that you thought was a possibility?
Wow, this is not good for the prosecution.
That's a compound question. I have to answer it separately.
Answer it however you want to. It's an open-ended question, which is unlike me. What steps did you take to, at that moment, to determine whether or not anybody in the house could have been involved in that possible physical altercation that you just described?
We interviewed the homeowner and two witnesses that were in that house.
Okay, hold on. Hear me out. I'm not a detective. Should have been. Not a detective. But I just have a quick question for those of you who do the work of the detectives here. Okay? Let me just hear me out. A man is found deceased on a front lawn. You seem to think that there's a physical altercation, that this man has been hurt or hit with a cocktail glass. You go so far as to interview the owners of the home. Do not search the home. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? I'm just...
You never went into the house, did you?
I
On January 29th, at least.
I personally did not go in the house.
Nobody
You did
did!
not secure that house or remove the occupants, did you?
Which day?
January 29th. I'm talking about the morning of January 29th.
I did not know.
You did not secure the yard as a crime scene,
Nope.
correct?
That's correct.
You didn't conduct any search of that house.
No, I did not.
You didn't take any photographs of the interior of that house.
I did not.
You didn't ask a forensic criminalist to join you and process the house, correct?
That is correct.
You didn't set up a crime
Oh
scene
my
log
God.
who is coming in and going out of the potential crime scene.
I did not.
No one actually documented the crime scene by taking contextual photographs and then close-up photographs, et cetera, during those early morning hours, correct?
I cannot speak to that. I was not there.
So the answer is you didn't do that,
No!
and you didn't cause that to be done.
I did not do that.
Crime Scene Services section, what is that?
It's a unit, specialized unit on the state police. They are specially trained with documentation, photographs, video, latent fingerprints, foot and tire impressions, footwear and tire impressions.
I hate everything.
They assist other investigators in documenting and processing scenes.
Did you contact CSSS to process the house or the yard or the area adjacent to the yard?
Which house, sir?
34 Fairview, Sergeant Buchanan. Do you think I was talking about a different house?
Yes, I did.
Really?
Why?
Yes.
Why would there be a different
It was
house?
34 Fairview, where John O'Keefe's body was found. Did you call CSSS out to the scene to process that house?
I did not contact Crime Scene Services on January 29th to
Ever.
the area of 34 Fairview Road to the lawn where John O'Keefe's body was found.
Ever.
You mentioned that you conducted
Ever.
interviews that day, correct?
That's correct.
Where were those interviews conducted?
The first interview was conducted at Canton Police Department. The second, third, and fourth were conducted at a residence in Canton. The
What was the
fifth,
I'm sorry, what was the first interview at Canton Police Department that morning?
Sergeant Good.
Oh, at least
So
Sergeant
other than
Good was
Sergeant
doing his
Good, I'm talking
job.
about civilian witnesses. You mentioned 3 civilian witnesses. Where were those 3 witnesses?
At somebody's
interviewed?
house.
At a residence in
Over
Canton.
brunch.
But not at 34 Fairview, just to be clear.
What is my blood pressure?
They were not at 34 Fairview, no.
They had been at 34 Fairview, though, hadn't they? All 3 of them.
Chicken Little.
As a matter of fact, Michael Proctor spoke to at least one of them, while she was at 34 Fairview, correct?
I don't know.
Weren't you with Michael Proctor?
You don't
when
know
he spoke
much,
to
do you?
Jennifer McCabe?
Which time, sir?
The first time he called her to set up the interview that morning on January 29th. You weren't with him?
I don't know where Jennifer McCabe was. I can't testify to that. I have no
Okay,
idea.
so if that call was made, she talked about that call being made, that was made by Michael Proctor, not by, outside of your presence.
Can you repeat that?
Sure. If there was a call made to Jennifer McCabe by Michael Proctor that morning, that was outside your presence.
Not necessarily. I just did not know where she was.
So the only
Thank you.
3 people you interviewed were Jennifer McCabe, Matt McCabe, and Brian Albert, correct?
Hi, Jumping
Not
Fox.
Who else?
You get the
The
clap.
defendant.
Other than Miss Reed, and before you got to Miss Reed, because you didn't get to Miss Reed till 3:34, correct? In the
In
afternoon.
the afternoon, I don't know exactly what time we began the conversation.
I'm talking about in the morning, when you were trying to figure out what was going on. You interviewed 3 people,
Yes, we did.
3 civilians.
At one point, we interviewed 3 civilians. the
Inside of
homeowner
somebody's
at 34
home.
Fairview Road, and 2 witnesses that were with Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant the night prior, and then one of the witnesses that was with the defendant when Mr. O'Keefe was discovered.
And these are individuals that you made the assessment had either been with or shortly, been with at the time or shortly before he was last seen alive, correct?
Based on the information that we had at that time, one of the individuals was with him right before he was seen alive, and the other 2,
Before he was last seen alive.
one of the individuals was with him right before he was last seen alive.
Right. Where's the documentation? For whom
Two
did you interview?
individuals saw the defendant and Mr. O'Keefe together.
And those same two individuals were also with Mr. O'Keefe just minutes before he was last seen alive at the waterfall, correct?
Yes.
All three of the individuals were with Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant at Waterfall, yes.
And all three of the individuals were also at 34 Fairview when Mr. O'Keefe arrived.
Thank you.
You had that information, didn't you?
We did not have information of Mr. O'Keefe arriving at the house. He was dropped off on the lawn.
And all three people, all three, were either named McCabe or
McCabe
Albert.
or Albert?
Those
Yes.
are the three people that you had information
Jen
about,
McCabe,
correct?
Nicole Albert, Brian Albert. Right? And Jen McCabe is Nicole Albert's sister.
I'm talking about the first three interviews that you
Finkel
did.
is
The first
Einhorn and
three
Einhorn
interviews
is
you did that
Finkel.
morning. Still on the same thing. You mentioned talking to three people at a residence in Canton. Brian Albert, Jim McCabe, Matt McCabe. All three were at 34 Fairview when they indicated John O'Keefe arrived in an SUV. They all told you that, right?
They were inside the home when the defendant and Mr. O'Keefe arrived in the SUV.
These are the very people that would have a motive to lie if they were somehow involved,
Yes.
right?
Sure.
Can you answer that, Sergeant?
Is that
No, Your Honor.
speculation, technically, though?
You're a professional investigator, correct?
That's correct.
Homicide investigator, right?
Oh, tell me, what do you investigate? What is it? Because it's not homicides. That's for fucking sure.
Many years of experience, right? Say yes?
I don't know what many means to you, but
We should light it every time we do a YouTube video.
homicide?
We light Alan Jackson's
10 next
candle.
week.
Okay. Does that sound like many?
Patron saint Alan Jackson.
I didn't answer the first time because I don't know what you would think many is.
Right.
Many.
Suspects ever lied to you?
Yes.
Suspects lie to you all the time, don't they?
Duh.
All the time is not accurate. They
Oh my
lie about
God.
certain things.
I don't know. I could never be on a jury because my face and my mouth, if he was like all the time, I'd be like, come on.
Create an alibi for themselves and state contradicting facts or fabricated stories.
Exactly.
Someone
All the
has
time would mean that they're constantly lying about everything.
Oh my God. Hi, Carl.
Do you understand the colloquialism all the time?
Alan Jackson for Pope.
I do not know the term colloquialism.
I don't know it
Okay,
either.
Let's try it a different way. If these three individuals were involved
Yes.
in the death of John O'Keefe,
Yes.
or knew others who were involved in the death of John O'Keefe,
Yes.
who they were close to,
Yes.
they would have a motive to lie about that, correct?
Yes.
But you took these three individuals just at their word, based on those first three interviews, correct?
Yes.
No, not correct.
You didn't go in the house. You didn't search the house. We've already talked about that, right?
I did not go into 34 Fairview. No, I did not.
You didn't ask them to come.
Jonathan.
Correct?
Jonathan, thank you for
correct.
the
I did not ask
super,
him to come
or
to the
the member for
station.
5 months. Thank you. But John says, sorry, I'm kind of liking this guy. Jonathan, I know that your job is to troll me professionally, but this I will not stand for. I won't do it. I won't do it. You can't make me do it. My God.
Oh, how the turntables. Pooper Bukaki.
This is a fever dream.
In fact, when you went to interview Jennifer McCabe at her home, Brian Albert happened to be there, correct?
He was there, and I was able to conduct the interview at the house with Brian Albert, yes.
Wow.
Did you find that odd?
You know, when I get interviewed, for somebody dying on a front lawn, I hope that I can have my brother-in-law, who is a Boston police officer, in the same place that John O'Keefe was a police officer, come with me to the interview. My dream is life to be a hostile witness. Just you're a hostile witness every time you're in this chat, Jonathan. But I appreciate you. Thank you for the supers. Thank you. Hostile witness. You're a hostile witness every time I talk to you.
Absolutely not.
It's totally normal for you to conduct a formal interview in a homicide case and have an extra person show up at the house just to be there?
Who was a cop?
Absolutely.
Wait a second. But here's the thing. You don't find it odd. You don't find it odd that she called Brian Albert, Boston police officer, to her interview, the man who owned the house where John O'Keefe was found in front of. God. Anything that's not odd to you?
Cooperating witnesses always try and be assisting. So
Cooperating witnesses always ask the owner of the house where a man was found dead in his front lawn to come to their interviews.
cooperating witnesses would assist us.
You just use the word always. You didn't know what all the time is.
Detective Bacon.
They always.
I want detective.
be assistant.
Detective Lieutenant Sergeant
Well,
Bacon.
they're cooperating.
It's my
That's-
name.
It's in the nature.
They always try to help you out.
Okay, maybe I misspoke. They are cooperating witnesses. So always is such a finite, definitive statement. I apologize for using it.
And if an investigator were keeping an open mind, right, open to all possibilities at the beginning of the investigation,
Because it's not normal, Ray.
you now are calling a cooperating witness might well be a suspect who's lying, correct?
Yes, yes.
That's
there's
a possibility.
That is a possibility.
Yes, it is. You know it is. I misspoke for this entire testimony. Hey, Mr. Pike.
May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
He has like a permanent smug look on his face. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah.
I want to shift gears for a second, Sergeant Buchanan, and ask you about some of the physical evidence in the case.
Lieutenant Detective Sergeant
You and
Chief Attorney
Mr.
Bacon.
Proctor collected the
my new
gray
name.
sweatshirt and the orange T-shirt that we saw entered into evidence today, correct?
That's correct.
You talked about finding that evidence at Good Samaritan Hospital.
The
is that
field
right?
trip.
That is where it was seized from, yes.
You described it as being on the floor.
They
correct?
do seem very comfortable. I do have to
That's
say
correct,
that.
yes.
Not comfortable, but like they're used to giving like certain weird answers.
Where on the floor was it when you first saw it? Was it on the
Pope Bacon.
on the hospital floor, not the ambulance?
Just add
floor,
it.
Correct.
When I first saw it, it was on the hospital floor, correct?
All right.
All right, Carl. It's never always.
Yes.
Bruh! Yes or no answers. Yeah, exactly. Hi, Tweedle.
That photograph, please.
Yes.
Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize it?
It's one of the photographs taken from Mr. O'Keefe's emergency department room.
Do you recognize the shirt or shirts that you earlier described as being in
did.
that photograph?
He did, Johnny boy.
There is an orange shirt depicted on the floor to the left side, yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that be marked and entered in evidence.
No objection.
Okay.
While that's being marked, when we approach the
Tweedle. Just me screaming. It'll never, I'm not a calming experience. I'm so sorry. But good luck to your toddler in their pants. Deep dish communion wafers. Come here and get your body of Christ. I anoint you with this hot dog. Off-topic question, can we please have a totally fictional sponsor breaks with made-up companies? Yes. That's how we manifest. And so this, what do I have around here? I don't know. This live stream is sponsored by HelloFresh or whatever. I don't know. Give me a company and I'll have ChatGPT write me a fake sponsorship so that I can read it while there's breaks. Oh my God.
I publish.
Yes.
This guy keeps like checking his neck,
Buchanan,
sweating
this
under
is,
there.
Exhibit 110. You just mentioned seeing an orange
darkness.
shirt. Do you have a laser pointer with you? If you don't, I can grab you one.
I do.
Can you point for the jurors where you were describing the orange? Just pick whichever TV you want to use.
Laser, taser, phaser. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT right now.
May I approach?
Yes. You worked earlier.
This is
It did, yes.
that's a beast. That should work. Just tell me which TV you're going to look at so the jurors understand and can follow.
I'll do the one to my right so the jurors can see. There is something orange right there on the floor.
Does that appear to be on top of something darker?
It does appear to be on top of possibly a darker item of clothing, possibly the jeans. I'm not sure exactly from here
Okay.
what that is.
Do you believe as you sit here...
Goldfish crackers. That's next.
Because I don't know what the answer is. Do you believe as you sit here that that's the orange shirt and or the gray sweatshirt and or the jeans?
If we can zoom in, I could probably pick out the pattern.
So I just typed into ChatGPT. My stream wants funny fake sponsorship posts. Someone said Raid Shadow Legends. And it says, got it. Number 1, Raid Shadow Legends, obviously. This stream is proudly not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, but if they ever do, I promise to mispronounce every character's name with honor. Number 2, Soap for Gamers. Today's stream is brought to you by Soap for Gamers, because your K to D ratio shouldn't be the only thing that's clean. Emotion Juice. This emotional breakdown is sponsored by Emotion Juice. Now in crying in public and why did I text them flavors. Number 4, The Broken Chair Company. Sponsored by The Broken Chair Company. Keeping streamers humble since 2006. Snake VPN. Today's stream is sponsored by Snake VPN. No security, no privacy, just vibes.
So from here, it looks like it's a cut fabric, indicating that it most likely is the orange shirt, the jeans. You can
Jet
see the
that
belt
smiles back. No.
loop through the jeans on the left side. I would say that
Whose
is
feet are these?
Mr. O'Keefe's clothing that we picked up and bagged.
Okay, if you could unzoom that for me. One more question.
Oh,
You
those
see
are his
Mr.
feet.
O'Keefe's left leg and right leg from about the little lower than mid-thigh down, correct?
Mid-thigh down, I see his legs, yes.
Okay, you see his right knee?
The interior portion of it, yes.
Okay, do you see any scrapes or marks or cuts or abrasions on that right knee?
Not from this point, no.
Thank you. We can take that down. Mayor Bush.
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh, the laser point? Yeah. Which one? I think it's this one.
I need
They're
a
both the
laser
same.
beam sound. Guys, I've had a really fun time today. I really needed this.
Sorry about that. Can we display the photo one more time,
At 10:30, I'll have to do my summary because at 10:45 I have to go.
Johnson? We don't need to turn the lights off. Take a look to the left. Could you zoom in on the chair? Do you see that item sitting on the chair, Sergeant?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
That is either mine or Michael Proctor's notepad binder.
Thank you. We can take that down. Concerning the two shirts that you earlier testified to as being sopping wet, did you bag those shirts? Well, did you bag those shirts, or did Michael Proctor bag those shirts?
We bagged them together. If my memory is not failing me, I believe he picked it up and I held the bag open. But I could be wrong. Maybe I picked it up and he held the bag open.
That's fine. The two of you together got them in a bag.
Yes.
Was it a paper bag or a plastic bag?
It was a large
Shop and save bag?
paper bag, the size of like a lawn leaf bag you would get for disposing your yard waste.
Did it
Okay,
have
was
yard waste in
and
it?
Is it specifically an evidence bag, or was it something that y'all
Procured?
came up with on the spot?
It's a bag that was provided by Crime Scene Services.
Okay, so it's an official law enforcement type bag, what a grocery bag.
It was not a grocery bag. It was a large bag.
Okay, understood.
It was not a red Solo cup?
Did both shirts go in the same bag?
All the clothing items that were in the pile went into the same bag.
Does that include the jeans and belt and boxer shorts?
Why wouldn't you separate them?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. You went from Good Sam, Good Samaritan, straight to Dighton, correct?
Yes.
And you are the one that put the bag in your the super cab of your pickup truck,
Yes.
and then from Dighton, you went over to Canton PD. Is that right?
Why? I don't understand why you wouldn't. They just picked them all up and put them in the same bag. Why wouldn't you ask for separate bags? One for the orange shirt, one for the sweatshirt, one for the pants, one for the belt. What are we doing?
Right.
Can I just be a police officer
And then
without
from
any
Canton
sort of
PD,
training?
Ultimately, before the night was out, you ended up back at the Norfolk DA's office, which is where you and Michael Proctor officed at the time, correct?
Yes.
When exactly, if you recall, did you lay out the clothing? You indicated it was sopping wet. You laid it out on a butcher paper. When was that?
It was during the evening hours. Once we arrived to the Canton office.
It was about 10 p.m., I'm guessing?
No, it was before that.
It was before 10?
Yes.
I have just a moment.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, these guys didn't do anything. Why can't I just be a special trooper? Trooper, Sergeant, Lieutenant, Detective, Chief, Pope, Bacon Bears.
Sergeant, I just want to get the record as clear as possible. Did you testify at a hearing last year, at a proceeding last year here in this courtroom, that it was about 10 o'clock at night when you finally got the clothing laid out on the butcher paper?
I think
Based
that's
on the
what these
context
guys
and the
did.
question, I might have estimated to be
Okay.
around 10. I would have to take a look at the exact language being used. And
That's fair. I'm not trying to hold you to anything. I just want to make sure we get it as clear as possible. Mayor Pro-
I'm not trying to hold you to anything except the fire.
highlighted portion, sir.
Oh my God.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Sergeant, does that refresh your recollections to about the time that you ended up at the
Look it, we could just start our
office
own
to lay out
agency.
those items on the butcher paper?
that refreshes my memory to my testimony prior.
And that was about your prior testimony. It was about 10 p.m.
When asked about what time the items were laid out, I indicated previously it was 10 o'clock approximately.
Detective Doofy.
You didn't stay there all night with those clothes.
No, I did not.
You left the clothes with Michael Proctor, did you not?
I can't testify to leaving them, quote unquote, with Michael Proctor.
Oh,
We laid
Proctor.
them out together in the drying area on the butcher paper. And then at some point, I secured from the office. I don't have a memory if he left with me or if he remained to do additional tasks in the office to,
You
whatever he had to
indicated
do.
that those clothes stayed in that room starting on January 29th, 2022, so that they could dry, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Ultimately, they were bagged after they were dried, correct?
At some
Oh,
point they were,
yeah, I
yes.
do remember VIP.
Who had access to that room where they were laid out on butcher paper?
Is it
in
Michael
those
Proctor?
intervening- Those subsequent days?
Anyone that had access to the office with a proper key card authorization.
Was
would-
it Michael Proctor?
would Have access to that
And
area.
of course, that includes you as a supervisor, correct?
It does.
It also includes Michael Proctor.
It does.
And those items were bagged on February 4th, is that right?
I don't have a specific memory, but if you can show me a document suggesting that and supporting that statement, I will definitely look at it.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop this right here. We're going to go back to here, and we are going to write the recap, a comprehensive recap of what happened in this stream, because dear God. Oh, my God. Okay. I have no words for you guys. So here's the recap for this entire stream. May 15th stream summary. Key testimony contradictions and evasions. Trooper Buchanan refused to admit Michael Proctor had a major role in the case, even though Proctor was the lead investigator, submitted all search warrant affidavits, and managed physical evidence. Buchanan insisted he was Proctor's supervisor, yet consistently dodged questions about Proctor's influence. When asked if the investigation was conducted competently, Buchanan said yes, despite overwhelming procedural issues, struggles and evasion and demeanor. Buchanan could not answer yes or no questions directly, opting instead for lengthy, unclear explanations, repeatedly used a lot of words to say very little, frustrating the defense and viewers alike, like us. Appeared dismissive of defense attorney Alan Jackson with a tone that seemed defensive and irritated. Claimed Proctor acted with, quote, integrity, and said earlier in his direct that some people get unfortunately fired, indicating continued loyalty to someone the department has already removed. Then there was critical procedural failures. 34 Fairview, the home where John was found, was never treated like a crime scene, never searched, never photographed, not processed for forensics. Buchanan was not present at the scene initially, yet testified in detail about events that he didn't really witness. Canton police recused themselves from the interview process, raising red flags about jurisdictional concerns or mistrust in how they recused, I'm sorry, and how MSP was handling things, but they also recused themselves because of the close ties that they had to 34 Fairview. Interviews were conducted at private residences, not at, well, one of them was conducted at the police station. Clothing was not bagged separately. Everything was thrown into a single bag, risking contamination. Brian Albert was allowed to sit in on Jen McCabe's interview despite being a key person connected to the house, the owner of the house, and this case. Jen McCabe admitted she created a timeline with Carrie Roberts, asked for a screenshot of the timeline but didn't give it to police, spoke extensively to her family about the case. Trooper Buchanan admitted that he told the medical examiner that John O'Keefe may have been struck with a cocktail glass, contradicting the theory that John O'Keefe was hit by a car. Early in the investigation, Buchanan personally believed that there had been a physical altercation. Now, our questions. Why does Buchanan refuse to acknowledge Proctor's role if Proctor wrote all the warrants? If the investigation was so competent, why was 34 Fairview never processed? Why let Brian Albert into Jen McCabe's interview? Why mention a cocktail glass to the ME if the official theory is a car strike? Why were clothes mishandled and interviews conducted in private houses? The cross-examination revealed glaring contradictions, departmental loyalty over truth, and deeply flawed investigative process. What we heard today should make anyone question whether this case is about justice or protecting power. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit the like and subscribe button. Drop your thoughts down below, especially on whether you believe this investigation was conducted with honesty, competence, or care. With that being said, I have 10 minutes to talk about whatever until I have to go pick up my kid. My God. Let's see. I have horrible memory, but it's also his job, right? It doesn't matter about the memory. It's your job to report absolutely everything, to document everything. And the thing I think that makes me what's happening? Why won't this change? The thing that makes me so upset about all of this is documenting things is so easy now. You can just literally open your phone and speak into it. You can dictate that way. Oh, you love my glasses. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Today's episode brought to you by Meowsers, a dating site for your single cat. Meow. Oh my God. And goldfish crackers. The snack that smiles back. One day I'll be sponsored. It'll be crazy. I have to leave work meeting. Bye, guys. Bye, Captain. Thank you for the laughs. And thank you for joining today. I appreciate it. I really needed today. I was feeling down in the little dumps. I was a grumpy gills. And then I got here and now I'm very happy. I'm very happy that I streamed. The reason that I couldn't stream this afternoon, which is my usual time, is because I have some stuff that has come up due to, I'll tell you guys later. Once I'm released from all of this and I can tell you guys, I'll tell you guys. I will. But anyways. I don't understand how or why. Aw, thanks, John. I'm happy I streamed too. Thanks, Mr. Pike. I think the thing is, I mean, the biggest injustice is the fact that John O'Keefe, a Boston police officer, won't, I mean, any victim, but he won't get the justice that he deserves. And that's not, they should have investigated this case more thoroughly. Thank you. I will be back more regularly once everything kind of quiets down. I will be back regularly. Also, my daughter is going to go to full-time school in August, which is going to open up a huge opportunity for me to do YouTube and streaming, more seriously as a full-time content creator. And I'm very excited about what those opportunities bring. Obviously, we've had a bit of a, just just wrench in our, I shouldn't even say wrench. It's not even a wrench. We've had just a bit of a surprise happen to us lately. And, it needs my undivided attention. And, it's important, and it's important to me, and it's something I take very seriously. You rock. Thank you. I appreciate that. How's the home rental going? Oh my God, you guys, I'll put it up on my tab. So the trim is done. The floors are done. My little arch in the hallway is done. I just built a fence around my garden. I love to garden. But my dog, so I put in the garden along the fence before we got our dog, and then our Jet's fence runner, because she runs after, just people or bikes or dogs. So every time I would put in garden plants, she would just mow them over and they wouldn't get an opportunity to grow. So this year I put up a fence and I'm very excited about it. So I am very happy. Once they are out of the house for 5 hours straight, the game changes so much. My youngest started kindergarten last fall. Wow, so many naps. Yeah, I'm not a napper. Like I go and I do a lot. It's just there's not one thing that can get my attention uninterrupted. I mean, exactly like right now, and my daughter's in a first school and then she goes to a little second school. But it's like, even if I'm doing a project and not just this, it gets interrupted, and then we have lunch, which is fine. And then, she goes back to school and I start on it again. The problem is I have ADHD, and it's the disruptions in the project. I like tend to get confused. It's like, it's hard to pick back up where I left off. Just with that disruption in my day. So it'll be nice once I can sit and focus on things and set dedicated time. Like Monday, Tuesday is this, Wednesday is this, Thursday is this, and so on and so forth. I don't really have that right now, especially with everything going on. Also, I have to tell you, like, everything that's going on inside of our family. I told you guys a little bit of it last stream, but it's been very emotionally draining. It's emotionally hard, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And it takes up it consumes. Doesn't take naps, immediately yawns. I know. I'm a yawner. But it's been consuming my life. It's what can I tell you without telling you? As of right now, I have guardianship or custody, or what's called plenary custody of my youngest sister. And she has come to stay with us, which is wonderful. She is wonderful. She is, she's great. She's smart. She's kind. She's thoughtful. She's just a wonderful kid. And it really, and we're going through this process. I grew up in a very just tumultuous, chaotic home. And it's not something that I'll allow my kids to grow up in. And so having to go through this process while not living like that for a long time has been hard, because it sucks you back in. You get just sucked down that rabbit hole again of toxicity. And it just opens a lot of old wounds that you thought were closed. And, it consumes you as a person. And I'm trying to not let it, because I need to be there for my kids. I need to be there for both of my sisters, and we're all kind of going through this together. And it's just it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And not in the way that, like, I don't want to do it. I guess I didn't think, when you think you're done with something and then, like, something rears its ugly head and you're like, oh shit, that wound still hurts. Ow. Like, it's just different. And there's a lot of days that I've just put myself to work, and I've, built my fence, and I've gone outside and I've just, angrily dug dirt, and I I put a lot of my anger and like rage and stuff into work. So that's just what I've been doing. So if I'm quiet on social media, it's because I haven't been in the mood to like laugh or talk or chat. I'll give you guys more details when I can, but that's what I'm going through right now. And I wanted to say thank you for, just being patient with me, and thank you. I haven't been able to really sit down and edit videos, long form videos. I have one that's just sitting on my computer, and honestly, like, I just don't want to. I don't want to. I sit down and I open up my laptop, and then I'm just like, you know what? I can't right now. And I just have to remember that, YouTube will be here when I am ready to come back. And, if I want to work at it, it'll work. But, my sister is the one that needs, my top priority right now, my sister and my kids. So with that being said, it is my time to go. You guys are the best. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. All right. See you guys. Bye.